Hello YouTube, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new. My name is Joni and this is the Knitting Attorney Podcast, episode almost 20. I think we're at 19 now. So this is where I talk about my knitting, some crochet. Today it's all knitting and crafting and all of that. So let me adjust my camera a tiny bit. I have had a big fight with my camera today. This light in the front of it turned on and I could not figure out how to get it off. And if you're wondering why in my last video with my best friend I looked a bit tired and weird, it's because of that really harsh light on my face. And no matter how many times I'm going into the settings and trying to fix it, it will not turn off. So yeah, that has been a struggle. I think we're getting to the point where I might just want to purchase a new camera that suits my needs better, as I have been doing a few YouTube videos and doing this consistently for a little while. So stay tuned for that. I may be just purchasing myself a brand new camera, like real YouTuber. So yeah, onto the knitting. Sorry for that unrelated ramble. So where did I leave off last week? I'll just start with first things first. I have an FO to share and then a story about that FO. So I was talking about my boxy cardigan last week. I think I had just had one of the sleeves started and I finished it. Yeah, finished, blocked, ends woven in. So yeah, it's really cute. I'm not gonna put it on right this second. I think I might wear it in my video next week. But I finished the sleeves and I actually had plenty of yarn. I had said I was a little bit concerned about that, but I actually ended up with a decent amount left. So yeah, it is the Boxy Cardigan by Friday Knits, and it's this really cute short sleeve cardigan with a collar and little buttons down the front. So I used Birch Hollow Fibers Phyllis DK in the shade Dryad. It's a 100% superwash merino, and for the buttons I used, if I can get them on the camera, these really pretty Victorian brass buttons that I got from Dusty's Vintage Buttons while I was at Rhinebeck. So yeah, it's kind of hard to show the whole thing in frame, but this is what it looks like. It's just really cute short sleeve, this pretty sage green color. So one thing I didn't make any real modifications to the pattern, but one thing I did that was maybe something I just thought of, it's maybe a tip, maybe not, but superwash wool, especially when wet, tends to be quite pliable and stretchy. And when I was doing these buttonholes, they were already stretching out quite a bit, and these buttons aren't very big. So I did two things to deal with that. First of all, I took some just regular sewing thread and kind of stiffened or reinforced the buttonholes. I just did a few stitches around them. It's not the nicest looking, but it's invisible from the front, so it doesn't have to be. It's just making slightly more rigid stitches around it so they don't come apart so easily. And the second thing I did, which is something I'm going to remove before I actually wear this piece, but I wanted to leave it in to show, is that before blocking, I actually went to the inside of the button band and I took just some undyed, and another one of them is just a light white color, just scrap yarn, and just kind of messily and loosely sewed the button band shut, just to kind of hold everything in place so that when it was wet, it wasn't stretching open and gaping around the buttonholes. So yeah, I did that and it worked out, I think, really nicely, because when I sort of was like laying this thing out to dry, everything just kind of very easily stayed in place and held its shape. So I wanted to share that little tip. It only took a few minutes, and like I said, I used some of the scraps from my summer slipover. I had that undyed wool. I would just recommend, if you're going to do something like that, using something either like a very pale color or not dyed, just because you don't want, when you're soaking it in water, you don't want it bleeding all over your nice yarn. So anyway, that's what I did, and I suppose I could put it on quickly, maybe. Nah, I'll wear this next week and you can see. But yeah, I'm really happy with how it came out, and it didn't take that long to finish. So I was working on this, my Toto sweater and my balloon cardigan. Since I finished this, I decided it was time to bring another whip in. And so what I'm wearing is that whip. This is my Cumulus tee by Petite Knit, and in my last video where I talked about this, I just had part of a single sleeve left to do, and then finishing it off. And so I sat down this weekend and just finished it. So that is already done. I'm really in love with how this came out. I was having a couple of worries when I was like weaving in the ends, because I was like, some of these little spots are messy, but I think the overall effect came out really pretty, and I love just the fit and the drapiness of it. I love that it's kind of wider in the neck, but not too falling off my shoulders, and it's a sort of nice cropped length. It's just kind of like right at the waistband of my jeans. Just kind of nice and versatile and pretty, and I really like this color. So this yarn is just an unknown mystery yarn that was in the sale bin at ZZ's Wool. So I don't know what exactly its composition is, how much yardage was in each skein. I got 3 skeins and only used about like 1 1/4 of them on this whole t-shirt. Yeah, all I know is that it's a silk blend, and that's it. And it's this really pretty, I've described it as rose gold. Some people say like rosy brown. I would say, or maybe like a rosy copper color. I'm not sure how it shows up on camera, but in person it's really got this like glowing sheen. It does look almost like a metal, not like metallic, but it has a very like metally kind of look to it, and I find it really, really pretty, and that's why I bought this yarn. I just fell in love with how the color glowed. So yeah, this is finished, and I can already tell it's going to be a favorite in my wardrobe as just this like nice basic piece that is simple and wearable, but also very special because I made it by hand. Yeah, there's a couple flaws here. One of my I-cord bind-offs is slightly tighter than the other, but wearing it I'm not really noticing too bad. There's definitely a couple of spots where I like dropped some stitches and very messily picked them up, and then tried to fix that by weaving in the ends in such a way that hit it. But you know what, we're not perfect, and I don't think anyone's going to notice that too much unless they're really looking for it, and I don't really notice it when I'm wearing it, so I am happy, and I'm glad to have another whip out of my life. I'm actually getting to a point where I'm starting to run out of whips that I really want to pick up, so I know I still have a lot, but I'm feeling like I might actually finish this whole like whip structure project thing I'm doing like well before the end of the year. So before I get into what I'm replacing this with, I'll just talk about my other things that were in progress kind of quickly. So my Toto sweater, last time I checked in, I had the body done, and I had started working on the first sleeve, and I have him done. Yeah, he's just this nice, long, kind of kind of puffy sleeve. He still needs to be seamed onto the body, and then I need to do the other sleeve and then seam the sides, but I'm happy with how that's going. I think I'm going to try to start at least the ribbing for the second sleeve today so that I can have those needles just out of this project. Yeah, I think this one shouldn't take too long. I could finish it this week, but I don't always feel like working on the lace pattern of this. But yes, I'm excited. I will keep you guys updated because I would like to have this thing for spring because this purple color is just so pretty. Yeah. And if I didn't mention, this is a kit from Wool and the Gang, and it's done in their Take Care Mohair, and it is really, I think if you want to do something lacy but don't want to work too hard on it or you're intimidated, this would actually be a really good pattern because this chevron lace is actually really, really easy to memorize and do, I think. And I would personally recommend this absolutely as a first time lace pattern. I say that as if I am an expert in lace knitting, but I'm not. I've done not a whole lot outside of this. So, but as someone who is not that experienced with lace to someone who is potentially not that experienced with lace, this one's nice. You should try it. So, I'm in a weird mood today. So my next project is my balloon cardigan by Petite Knit, and I'm still on the same sleeve, guys. I think this is meant to be knit to 38 centimeters, and last time I checked, like 10 rounds ago, I was only at 20. Yeah, it's not quite the length of my arm yet. Yeah, but as of right now, as of last night, I only have 2 balls of yarn attached to it. I was alternating skeins. I was alternating skeins from the skein I use for the yoke into here to fade it. And Ron, please be quiet. There's dogs barking outside. I'm so sorry. And I used up that last little bit, and so now I'm just on to this guy. And this is Hedgehog Fibers Skinny Singles in the shade Poppy, and Ginger's hand-dyed Leading Lady Lace, and together they make this just lovely pastel rainbow kind of effect that I hope you can see that. Oh, the sun is shining so weird, and Ron is barking. There you go. I hope you can see that nicely, because I think it's really, really pretty, and again, will be beautiful for spring, because I'm just on such a springtime knitting kick. So, last thing to talk about, and then I will go and not subject you to any more of Ron's barking. I'm trying to do this with one hand and keep the other hand petting him. So I decided to cast on a new cardigan, and this is a cardigan pattern by Morissette C. And yeah, there's not much to show. This is the back panel, and then you pick up stitches in the front. It's like a drop shoulder, top down cardigan, so that's kind of how you do them. But I have gotten through the back with all the short rows, and I guess you'll have to wait a few more weeks or another week to have any idea what that's gonna look like. But I'll talk about the yarn because that is pretty. So this is the last yarn I got at the Woolen Folk, which was the first of these sort of pre-Rhinebeck events I went to, and I'm trying to kind of finish up that whole like Rhinebeck and surrounding events haul this year, and I'm trying to do it in order of event because just make it a game. So this is the last yarn I got there, so I decided to cast this on so I can start to finish that up. And so this is the Taconic Twist from Wing and a Prayer Farms, and It is this pretty sort of sport weight-ish, naturally dyed. It's a mix of a few different sheep and some mohair in it, and it's this really pretty, not really a sage green, I would call this more of like a celery green, but it's one of those like pretty light greens that I'm in love with. So I'm knitting myself this very simple sort of oversized cardigan. I'm knitting it a size up from what I would need, because I want it to just be like a very simple basic thing that I can just throw over anything. And so yeah, I've started working on that. It's not that interesting to look at yet, but I figured I would just let you guys know that that is the next thing. So this and my balloon cardigan and my Toto sweater are my 3 whips I'm continuing with. So yes, Ron got quiet, he's asleep now. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed that video. If you did, please like, subscribe, comment. I love getting comments from people. I like getting comments about things that I could improve too. I've gotten a couple of those, and thank you to everyone who has, because that's really helpful for me. So yeah, I'm trying to look into the camera. I'm still so bad at it. I also have these like grid lines up on my viewfinder, which are just incredibly distracting. Yes, anyway. So I will see you next week. I'm going to hopefully continue doing some more of my wardrobe clean out videos. That so far hasn't gotten as much attention, but maybe if I continue it and make it a little bit more interesting, maybe people will like it a little more, or maybe not. I don't know. We'll see. But anyway, I hope you have a really good week, and I will see you next week. Bye bye.